Well, just moments ago, the suspected killer of Charlie Kirk formally charged with aggravated murder and 6 other counts. Now, unfortunately, some on the left continue to cheer the killing. FBI Director Kash Patel and Senator Cory Booker. It hasn't been about him, so he made it about himself, getting into a shouting match over the rise of the violent rhetoric. Watch.
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts that tear this country apart.
To address your falsehoods.
Oh, you can try all you want
in this country.
to not take responsibility for what you have said. Sir, you're making a mockery of this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over. The people of New Jersey tell me what my time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time's over.
You may be the charge of the FBI,
I'm not going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm not afraid of you.
Ooh, tough guy. And as numerous workers get fired for posting onto social media disgusting celebrations of the murder of Charlie Kirk, some folks in the media are now suddenly worried about cancel culture. Watch this.
Most of these people are not public figures. They were anonymous until a few days ago when this conservative campaign organized online targeting people that it says are attacking Kirk. Look, this is a new form of cancel culture.
This does seem to be turning into a very aggressive attempt to purge not just, government officials, specifically people who work in education, who work in healthcare, who work in government. So it's already getting a little bit out of hand.
Yeah.
Ooh, the smell his beard from here. Nasty. And this is a new low. Last night, Jimmy Kimmel implied the suspected killer of Charlie Kirk was MAGA.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The guy who used to watch women bounce on trampolines, Greg, has turned into a laughable political pundit. What did you make of Jimmy Kimmel's comments?
Well, he didn't imply it. He said it. I might have to watch Kimmel tonight to see what he has to say about this, because if he doesn't address what he did, he's done. I mean, this is a great case study, though, of cognitive dissonance. How can such a smart, successful man be so wrong? How can he live in this kind of denial? It's because he knows he's wrong. And if you strip that away, what's left? If you wrestle him away from this delusion that he's stuck with for years about Trump supporters, about Trump, about Republicans in general, what's left? What's underneath that? The realization that you are the bad guy in the movie. You're not a defender of democracy. You're a defender of destructive delusions. I mean, hate to tell you, buddy, but the guy who shot and killed Charlie Kirk was more likely a fan of yours than he was in MAGA. I think the hardest part is getting people to acknowledge their role in this brainwash. But once you get past that denial, you're left with something that nobody wants to deal with. And I think what we do as conservatives and libertarians and the right is you set an example. You got to offer a way out for these people that are on that side, who are sick and tired of feeling miserable under the thrall of this mental poison that Paul mentioned. When you go to turning point events, how could you not want what they have? They're happy, they're joyful, and they're impressive. Lastly, about this Stelter thing, this is rich coming from a network that sent people after Trump supporters down to their mobile homes to out them. They had no problems with cancel culture. This is not relying on the muscle of media. This is an organic thing, just exposing what they are saying to their employees and their employers, and their employees have every right. So the point is, I go back to that phrase, mutually assured destruction. We want you to stop doing this to us. So we're giving you a dose of your medicine, and you're going to take it.
All right. So obviously, Stephen Colbert, his show was canceled. He's only going to be on for a few more months. He was awarded a Primetime Emmy on Sunday night. Do you think ABC, looking at this and seeing MSNBC fire Matthew Dowd, is it easier for them to pull the plug on someone like Jimmy Kimmel, given the political and media environment we're in right now?
it's certainly easier for them to give an opportunity to walk it back or to try and clarify exactly what he meant, and more importantly, to tell the truth about what actually occurred here. This comes down to the typical leftist tactic of never wanting to take responsibility for anything. They gin up all of this foment, all of this narrative, and now all of a sudden something horrific has happened and it's their guy and they want to say, oh no, it's a MAGA guy. Which is not true. It's a lie. And they've done this time after time with violent cases after violent cases. And when it doesn't suit their narrative to try and lie and say it's someone from the right, they justify it, just like they justified $2 billion worth of rioting damage and murder of police officers in the summer of 2020. So they are masters of projection. When they say it's the conservatives, the right wings, political ecosphere doing this, they're actually talking about themselves. They're holding up a mirror and they don't like what they see. And instead of just taking some responsibility and saying, how can we prevent this from happening again? We have a sick problem inside the left. The data proves it out. Polling after polling shows that a significant number of people on the left justify political violence, and not just getting a little violent by destroying property, but by murdering those who they disagree with. And we've seen this occur. Yeah. So they're going to have to figure it out, but they're lying about what's actually going on.
All right, but you have a large number of younger people, Jesse, who they watch Jimmy Kimmel. Maybe they watch a clip on TikTok, and they believe that this alleged assassin was, in fact, a member of the MAGA movement. And those are the same people who feel that political violence is justified. It is a 4-to-1 margin, liberals to conservatives, who say that it is okay to either torch a Tesla dealership, possibly injure or kill Elon Musk or Donald Trump, or to harm or kill someone that you politically disagree with. How do you change that?
Well, you're seeing a massive disinformation campaign run by the legacy media to try to detach themselves from this killer, and it's not working. We expose it immediately, and it's been debunked, and they're never going to get away with any of this stuff anymore. They are over. In terms of people, you have a right to say Charlie Kirk deserved to die. You have a right to say you're glad he died. But you don't have a right to work at this company. You don't have a right to teach my kids. You don't have a right to serve in government. You are basically telling the world you're evil. You are telling the world you can't be trusted. You are telling the world you are comfortable with cold-blooded killing. Now, do you want someone like that sitting next to you in the office? If CNN had a producer after 9/11 that was going around saying, yep, the chickens have come home to roost, you think he'd last one day at that office? What about Irina, the Ukrainian? Could you say she had it coming? Glad she died. Or, I'm so glad Epstein got a hold of all these girls. Thank goodness. Or, you know what, the Palisades fire, that should have burned more. It's the same thing. And you would never tolerate that kind of lack of humanity with people that you are spending close proximity with, because who knows what else they're capable of. This is demonic, and they are threats to your physical safety, to your children's physical safety. And so there's nothing wrong with expelling these people from polite society. They should be banished, they should be punished, and they should be sanctioned. Evil must be confronted. Now, the Department of Justice can take action when it comes to Antifa. Where they get the body armor from? Who's paying for all these gas masks that are being shipped in caseloads to these riots in Los Angeles? Ever think of where Ryan Ruth got all that money to get all those computers, phones, and rifles, and how he afforded to fly all across the world to Ukraine, how he afforded to live in Ukraine for all that time? Follow the money. And the left's scared that we're going to follow the money because they're afraid of what we might find.
All right. And, to that point, Antifa being designated as a terrorist organization. What is the potential backlash, and is that a sound idea for this administration?
It is, and the problem here is that it's a little bit institutional. Nobody wants to make those cases. Why? Because they're money cases, as Jesse is saying, right? And the statutes, they're not sexy. This is not cinematic police work, right? It's going to be money laundering, tax charges, really dull stuff like that. Who wins football games? It's not necessarily the quarterback run all over the place with the highlight reels. It's in the trenches, right? That's who wins. The front line, that's where you win or lose. The money is the front line. You know that there are guys who live in Shanghai, American citizens, who fund the co-founder of Code Pink is married to a guy named Roy Singham who lives in Shanghai. He's a devout Maoist. His niece is the head of Jews for Mamdani. The money's flying all over the place. We don't follow any of it. You're telling me all of this stuff is legitimate? All of this money is accounted for? They're paying the taxes on all of this? All of this stuff is being funded by naive billionaires, the wives of naive billionaires who have since been divorced. I won't say any names. And it flies all over the place. What you need, remember they wanted to hire all those IRS agents and everybody had a stroke? Hire them. But don't point them at us because most of us are paying our taxes. Point them at this ecosystem that has caused our campuses to erupt, that fund this kind of crap that we're seeing relative to Charlie. Because the right doesn't have that ecosystem. We all know that. You start a right-leaning foundation right now, you're going to be out on Broadway with a cup in your hand. You're not going to get this kind of money. Yeah. So this is where you got to go. They're not sexy cases, but this is what you got to do.
But you know what is cinematic and sexy? A love-struck former Mormon falls in love with a trans male. This is American Crime Story. It's a Netflix show, right? Sure. It's a cross between Romeo and Juliet and Neil Jordan's Mona Lisa with natural-born killers thrown into it. That's what you're going to see because that's what Hollywood will do.
That's right. Yep.
Barf.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.